Hi everyone, I'm going to be presenting today on the topic of online reviews. I'll be covering the importance of online reviews and problems they present, best practices for responding to online reviews, what to do if you get a negative online review, and when to get a legal expert involved if facing a serious online review issue. Hi, I'm Aaron Mink, attorney and founder of Mink Law, the nation's leading law firm when it comes to dealing with internet defamation and online harassment. Make sure to keep watching to the end of this presentation. I'll be providing a link with access to a free guide my firm wrote specifically for medical professionals on how to deal with fake and negative online reviews. Let's get into it. In today's digital age, online reviews are more important than ever. Given how commonplace online reviews are in today's society, the legal and ethical minefield they present for physicians and medical organizations is both concerning and surprising. Patient privacy protections greatly restrict how and when doctors can respond to reviews. Patients who leave reviews generally do not have any sort of formal medical training to competently review doctors in meaningful ways regarding their treatments. And negative reviews can be particularly harmful for physicians' reputations. So what can physicians do and medical practitioners do? Well, I'm going to share that with you now. From a legal perspective, the best tips, tricks, and practices that physicians and medical organizations should follow to deal with online reviews. Tip number 1, how do you respond to an online review? Answer, you don't. It doesn't matter if a review is good or bad. I do not recommend that physicians respond to online reviews. Unlike typical businesses that can respond to online reviews however they want, physicians and medical organizations are extremely limited in what they can say and do in response to online reviews. This is because of ethical rules that make patient-physician communications confidential, as well as because of HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Under HIPAA, the only types of responses to online reviews that are allowed by medical providers are simple statements about general practices and procedures, and that's it. All responses must be completely generic. You cannot mention or discuss any specific patient information. You cannot say anything that remotely confirms or acknowledges that a reviewer is a patient. You're not even allowed to say a person's name when responding to a review. You heard that right. Under HIPAA, a person's name is considered protected health information. So using a person's name when responding to an online review is considered a violation. Again, given how restrictive regulations are, my advice is that physicians and medical organizations should not respond to online reviews. I've seen reports of organizations getting fined $25,000 or even $50,000 in some cases for violations. I have clients where they get into a dispute with a patient and little things like this have been added as claims in lawsuits against them. I just don't think the benefits to responding to reviews outweighs the risks at the end of the day, so I do not recommend doing it. Tip number 2, because it's not a good idea to respond to online reviews, I strongly recommend that physicians and medical organizations put a disclaimer or note on their profiles on rating websites explaining that you are restricted from responding to online reviews. Here is an example of what that might look like. Dear patients, we greatly value patient feedback and appreciate that online reviews are a useful tool that consumers use to educate themselves and select medical services. However, please be aware, unlike other businesses who may respond freely to online reviews, as medical professionals, we must provide complete confidentiality to our patients. That means we are prohibited from responding in any way that acknowledges whether someone has been in our care. If you have any issue that needs attention, please contact our office directly. There's nothing magic about that language. Feel free to use it. You can change and update that however you want. On most websites, you can claim your online profile and add this information. It's very quick, easy, and effective to do. Again, I strongly recommend putting something like this on your online profiles, on the review websites that your patient visits. It's usually very effective. Tip number 3, actively establish a positive online reputation and monitor it. As the saying goes, sometimes the best defense is offense. Regardless of how you feel about online reviews, doing nothing is not an option. You should be taking steps to solicit good reviews from patients and having them posted on multiple review sites. You should also be taking steps to establish a positive presence online and on social media. You should also be actively checking in and monitoring your online reputation on a regular basis. I do want to bring up some practices that I've seen physicians implement to deal with online reviews that are completely counterproductive and should be avoided at all costs. Do not ever include anything in your patient contracts that prohibit, restrict, or penalize patients for writing online reviews. This is critically important. This means no confidentiality provisions, no NDAs, no non-disclosure agreements of any kind. Also, eliminate anything in your paperwork that mentions anything about copyright assignments or having ownership rights to your patient's reviews. These types of contracts and provisions are illegal and prohibited under federal law called the Consumer Review Fairness Act. These types of restrictions are rarely, if ever, effective and are usually counterproductive. They are literally just a ticking time bomb, a PR nightmare waiting to blow up on you. They tend to cause the exact problems that they are designed to prevent. If you currently have any terms or contracts like this in your patient intake documents, remove them immediately. I cannot stress that enough. So, since I recommend that physicians refrain from responding to online reviews, a question I typically get at this point is, what do you do if you get a negative review then? First off, I just want to start off by saying that if you have never gotten a bad review before, consider yourself lucky, and also that your days are probably numbered. Everyone gets a bad review eventually. It's inevitable. It's part of doing business. You can have perfect customer service, do everything right, and I promise you will still eventually get a bad review no matter what. It happens. So rule number 1, if you get a bad review, don't worry. Don't obsess over it. It happens to everyone. Think of it like a rite of passage. You'll get through it. Life will go on. Second, when it happens, the best way to resolve 90% of situations is by doing everything you can to provide amazing customer service. I know, sounds simple, because it is. Pick up the phone, call the person, listen, don't talk. If necessary, be prepared to apologize and provide an appropriate remedy. Great customer service will resolve most issues. In the event that doesn't work, the next step is to report the review to the platform where it was posted for a terms of service violation. Google, Yelp, Healthgrades, RateMDs, they all have rules that reviews must follow. If a platform agrees with you that a review violates a rule, they will delete it. Sometimes this is very easy to file these reports and get things taken down. Other times, not so much. It depends heavily on the content of the review and the platform. It's very case by case. Finally, the last thing you can do to deal with negative reviews is to get a legal expert involved to help. If you are in a situation where you are not sure what you are doing or don't have a high degree of confidence that you're going to be successful, like with reporting a review to a platform, you should definitely hire someone with expertise to help. Calling a legal expert will ensure that you're going to leverage the legal rights that you have to give you the best chance possible to resolve the situation favorably. Now, I'm not recommending that every time you get a bad review, you get a lawyer involved. It's not sensible. It's important to look at every situation on a case-by-case basis to decide whether that's a good decision or not. For example, if you get a bad review that's pretty balanced and fair or is just kind of a weird outlier, it's probably not going to be worth it, especially if you're getting lots of positive reviews on a regular basis and promoting your reputation online. However, if you get a bad review that is serious in nature, meaning the review is accusing you of malpractice, seriously harming a patient, engaging in criminal activities, sexual harassment, racism, get where I'm going with this. If you start getting multiple bad reviews, and especially if you get a review that is fake, meaning the review is published by someone who you do not sincerely believe is an actual patient, like a former employee or maybe a competitor or someone publishing multiple bad reviews under different names and aliases, taking appropriate legal action is not just an option in these cases, it is necessary. If these types of circumstances arise, you need to speak to a legal professional immediately to review the facts of your case and make an appropriate determination as to what the next steps should be. This is vitally important. Well, that's all the time that I have. If you enjoyed this presentation, check out the free guide my firm prepared, especially for medical professionals, on how to deal with fake and negative reviews. You can request a copy at the following URL that will be put on screen. Please do not hesitate to email me directly if you want to request a copy of that guide or you have any other questions about anything I talked about during the presentation or anything else going on. I'm happy to answer them. My email address is amink@minklaw.com. Again, that's AMINC@minklaw.com. And I look forward to answering all your questions. Thank you.